Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to Madam Diva. For the third analysis, our group have chosen the brand Garnier with the specific product Garnier Vitamin C Plus Booster Serum. So in my group, me myself, Nurdana binti Haris Amami, and my teammate Balkis, Nurhuda Nabiha, and Nurul Ain Ardini.
In today's beauty industry, brand identity plays a crucial role in shaping consumers' perception and trust. This presentation explores Garnier's Vitamin C Serum advertisements, focusing on how language, imagery, and cultural messaging constructs brand identity. Through syntactic structures, key phrases, and implicit beauty norms, Garnier positions itself as an authoritative yet approachable brand that promises visible transformation and confidence. By analyzing these elements, we aim to uncover how Garnier's discourse reflects broader societal ideals of beauty and self-care while appealing to modern ingredient-conscious consumers.
Next, let's take a look at research question 1. For this part, we wanted to look at what we call as the avowal identities, in which it basically means that the specific personas that Garnier intentionally built for itself across these 15 advertisements. So instead of just coming across as another random skincare brand on the shelf, our analysis showed that Garnier uses a very specific language and visual framing to project 3 distinct corporate identities. So the first one is they position themselves as the scientific innovator, in which it shows that they are a clinical authority with research-backed formulas. Second, they act as the problem solver for dark spots, making them the ultimate expert for hyperpigmentation. And the last one, the third one, is they claim the title of the world's #1 authority to build instant trust and credibility among the consumers.
Now, let's move on to our second research question, which look at the other side of the coin. We know how the brand positions itself, but what kind of identity is it creating for the consumers? When a buyer looks at Garnier advertisements, who are they being told they are, or who should they strive to become? So through our analysis, we found that the discourse creates 3 distinct identities of the consumer. So the first identity is the informed solution seeker. By positioning itself as a rigorous scientific expert in the skincare field, Garnier doesn't just sell soap or cream. They target consumers who values logic, credibility, and proven results. As a consumer interacting with this discourse, so you aren't just someone buying a product on a whim. You are cast as proactive, smart individuals who seek out advanced and modern formulations to logically solve your problem. Now, for the second identity, fairer skin as the beauty ideal. But then, the narrative shifts from the laboratory to society, which create a second much heavier identity, which is the aspirational consumer are striving for social acceptance. So when we look closely at the language used in the Vitamin C Plus Serum campaign, the discourse strongly promotes narrative that fairer and brighter skin isn't just a preference, it is the ultimate beauty standard. The text subtly creates an identity where achieving a lighter complexion is directly equated with confidence, usefulness, vitality, and ultimately social acceptance. And lastly, the third identity is fast and visible results as a lifestyle fit. But how does this fit into your daily life? The discourse constructs the identity of the empowered, fast-paced modern individual. So we live in a world where everyone is busy. And the line marketing speaks directly to that. When the ads promise a visible brightening in just 3 days, it aligns perfectly with a time-sensitive lifestyle. So this identity tells the consumer, you are busy, proactive person who takes full control of your appearance, and you don't have the time to wait. So it encourages us to see ourselves as an active participant on our own self-enhancement journey, using the product as a tool to keep up with the modern world.
As for the data, we've chosen the company to be Garnier. The product is specifically the Brightening Vitamin C Plus Serum from January 2026 to the current present. And we've also decided to do advertisements, specifically 15 advertisements from TikTok and YouTube. And the reason why we chose Garnier is because it's a globally recognizable brand that has done a lot of promotional advertisements. So finding advertisement would have been very easy for us.
So, for our data selection criteria, we have decided on 3 criteria in particular. The first one, that all of the ads must be published in 2026. This is because this product line in particular represents Garnier's most aggressive push in recent years to position itself as a science-driven, fast-acting solution for any of your skincare problems. So by choosing all of the ads in 2026, we're actually capturing Garnier's current branding strategies and recent formula changes, not including updated campaigns and previous formulated products. So this actually helps to ensure our analysis reflects how the company is actively shaping consumer perceptions today. Second of all would be YouTube and TikTok. So we only choose advertisements from these 2 platforms because these 2 platforms actually shows Garnier's latest advertising strategies. For example, on YouTube, the videos tend to be a lot more polished, narratively driven, and emphasize product science. Meanwhile, on TikTok, the ads tend to be shorter, emotional, and trend-based, particularly using any content creators or viral sounds. Lastly, we would choose all of the ads that are language-based in Malay or English only. We believe that using these languages that we understand ensures accurate linguistic coding and discourse analysis. So it's easier for us to look at the imperatives, the comparative, and the persuasion techniques used by Garnier. The next 3 slides will showcase the product placement videos that we have taken. So for our data analysis procedure, how do we look for the indices and how did we identify the dominant identities? Is that we looked into the, first of all, synthetic structure and messaging style of Garnier. So we look into the messages such as the imperative comments, get brighter skin, or the promises of results, brightening in just 3 days, and comparative claims like 100 times stronger. This helped to reveal how Garnier positions itself as an authoritative, fast-acting, and scientific-driven company or brand. The use of these superlatives and time bounds creates urgency as well as trust from the consumers towards the brand. Second of all is the keywords and phrases used in the ads. So for example, the recurring words and phrases that Garnier emphasizes in particular repeatedly in their advertisements and product description, such as brightening, fair skin, dark spot, 3 days, world's #1, science-backed, and powerful duo. So these terms signal the brand's core promises and values, highlighting what identities they in particular want to project. Lastly is the implicit cultural norms and beauty standards in today in particular. So the emphasis on fairer and brighter skin as well as a desirable trait reflect broader cultural beauty standards prevalent in many markets, especially the skincare markets. So this messaging actually helps to identify the identity that Garnier produces, that fair, radiant skin is the beauty ideal and a marker of confidence and success.
Now that we have gone through our analysis procedure, let's take a look at what we actually found for research question 1. So we are going to break down the exact language and visuals that Garnier uses to pull off those 3 corporate identities. So first up, let's talk about the scientific innovator. So Garnier does not just say that their product is good. they will use a highly scientific style of communication. In fact, if you look at the text, you will constantly see or hear active chemical names such as niacinamide, salicylic acid, and malicyl, and usually it is also paired with catchy numbers such as 100 times stronger. And visually, they will back this up by showing proper pipettes, molecular graphics, and a clean lab style background. This fits perfectly with a study by Carr et al. 2030, in which they point out that beauty brands intentionally use this kind of technical jargon to give themselves instant scientific credibility, in which it will make the commercial claims feel undisputable to the everyday consumer. Economically, this targets today's smart ingredient conscious consumers who want a hard proof before buying. It also shows how consumer brands adopt a medical framework to justify premium pricing. So if you compare this to the older beauty ads that rely on a sense of mystery, such as a secret beauty formula, Garnier's current ads treat skincare more like a transparent medical solution. Now, let's take a look at the problem for dark spots. So here, the language shifts heavily toward problem-focused words, such as hyperpigmentation and dark marks. And usually it is followed immediately by action words such as target, reduce, and fade. So it will also use visuals to lock this in by using high contrast before and after split screens and digital target graphics over the model skin. In discourse analysis, this is what we call as a problem-solution layout. Rahmah and Suhardi 2020 explained that advertisers will actively highlight or even create a specific skin issue purely so that they can position their product as the ultimate necessary savior. From a socio-cultural standpoint, this actually turns natural biological traits like skin shading into a flaw. It promotes a culture of constant self-surveillance, making us feel like our skin is a project that always needs work. While older ads frame blemishes as a cleanliness issue, modern short-form videos frame dark spots like a mechanical skin fault that can be systematically fixed. And finally, we have the world's #1 authority. So Garnier makes a massive direct claim of global market supremacy by flat out stating that they are the world's #1 serum. Visually, they sell this authority through gold emblems, spam graphics, and bold text overlays across TikTok and YouTube Shorts. According to Ahmed and Aliyu 2025, using global superlative like this is a macro strategy to force agreement. It frames the brand's dominance as an absolute truth, leaving very little room for the consumers to doubt it. Globally and economically, this shows how massive conglomerates use their pure scale to overshadow smaller local brands. It completely relies on the assumption that if it's a popular brand worldwide, it must be objectively better. So here is where it gets interesting. Older commercials relied heavily on local celebrity endorsement to earn trust, but today, digital ads swap out human faces for structural corporate rankings to build that trust.
Now, what are the actual linguistic and visual tools that's behind by the discourse condition? So to answer that, let's break down our findings for each identity, looking at the language, the academic literature, and the deeper societal context. Let's start with our first identity, fairer skin as the beauty ideal. How does the ad build this standard? So linguistically, the ads rely heavily on value-laden adjectives denoting light and transparency. Words like brightening, radiant, and glowing, these aren't just description. They act as modern semantic stand-ins for skin fairness and beauty. Visually, we see this exact same transformation play out in the lighting. So the ads feature visual transition where models' face move from dim shadowed lighting to the high-key, incredible bright studio exposure. So fairness is quite literally equated with light. And academically, this isn't a new phenomenon. Literature reminds us that skincare advertisements systematically portrays lighter skin as a smooth, flawless, while darker skin is structurally coded as problem-ridden. So why does this narrative persist? If we place it within a societal and historical context, it stems directly from the post-colonial racial hierarchies and deep-seated cultural colorism. So fairer skin acts as a resource, a form of social and cultural capital that directly influences a person's career opportunities and social acceptance. And if we compare it to the past, historically, advertisements were blunt. They explicitly marketed as bleaching or whitening because of modern social backlash. The discolor has simply evolved. Today, it uses coded, euphemistic variants like brightening or radiance to keep those exact same colorist standards alive through a softer language. Moving to our second column, how does the discourse construct the science-backed transformation identity? So instead of treating the consumer as a passive object waiting for a miracle, the linguistic elements actively reframe them as an informed, active subject. So the copy uses phrases like routine optimization or ingredients conscious. So visually, the imagery supports this by showing models closely studying ingredients lists on a bottle, mimicking like they are studying the bottle and the lab-like inspection process. So scholars call this beauty discipline. So discourse actually disciplines the body and self-perception, transforming what used to be a simple skin maintenance into a calculated, rigorous daily chart. So it pressures the modern consumer to conform through continuous, structured product consumption under capitalist and patriarchal ideologies. Psychologically, this capitalizes on our deep need for personal control. So by treating skincare like an object, chemical experiment, consumer feels empowered. They genuinely believe that they are making a rational, data-driven investment in their appearance. So this marks a massive shift from a traditional marketing, which constructed as the consumer as an impressionable bystander waiting for a magical cure. So this modern discourse built the consumer identity as an active, rational co-researcher who actively engineers their own skin transformation.
Finally, let's take a look at the third column, fast and visible results as a lifestyle fit. So how is this identity actually constructed? Linguistically, we find high frequency or time-bound imperative clauses and urgent adverbs inside the ads. So the text demands immediacy with phrases like visible results in just 3 days and grab brighter skin now. Visually, this matches the medium it lives on. So the ads utilizes fast-paced, rhythmic TikTok edits, showing users applying the serum while transitioning seamlessly between busy professional settings or social outings. So literature actually shows that this strategic use of time constraints manipulate consumers into believing that the product fits perfectly within their very busy lifestyle. So short-form videos advertising heavily exploit the themes of instant gratification, constructing identities around immediate aesthetic fixes to align with their highly optimized lifestyles as well. So in a social economic context, this actually aligns perfectly with the modern capitalism where time is a heavily commodified item. So again, time is money. Modern consumers demand instant aesthetic. So in a social economic context, this aligns perfectly with modern capitalism where time is heavily commodified. So again, time is money. Modern consumers demand instant aesthetic adjustments within zero downtime because personal presentation is tied directly to one's social value and economic value. So when we contrast this with older generations ads, skincare used to be framed as something that is slow, a patient ritual of self-care. However, today, short-form video completely reframes that as a high-speed, rapid digital upgrade.
In conclusion, Garnier's Vitamin C Plus Serum advertisements strategically construct multiple brand and consumer identities through language, imagery, and persuasive discourse. The brand presents itself as the scientific innovator, the trusted problem solver, and the global authority, while positioning its consumers as individuals who aspire to have brighter skin through scientific self-improvement with fast and visible results. These identities are reinforced through the use of scientific terminology, superlative claims, and culturally embedded beauty ideals. This analysis also reveals how Garnier's discourse reflects a broader social and economic trend, including the commercialization of beauty, the influence of colorism, as well as the growing demand for evidence-based skincare. Ultimately, Garnier's advertising demonstrates how contemporary beauty brands use discourse not only to sell their products, but also to shape perceptions of beauty, confidence, and self-care.